All right, we are here for our final feature match of the league for MKM, and we have Christopher G. Oompa Loompa facing off against Caleb G, who is our I still call him the feature match goat because his 18-4 record here. Evan is with me again, and what's happened over there for Caleb, who is at 10 losses and on the verge of elimination here.
Hey, hey, well, not too much. He has one playable card because the other one is Analyze the Pollen. Has drawn into a Nervous Gardener, so that makes a nice 2, 3, 4 curve. And then, the pollen, maybe it'll turn into a creature, or if not, quite a few colors.
Okay.
Has started with uh, plain swamp and an island, and it has two forests in hand plus another island. So just I don't know if maybe Caleb's playing Matraxa or something in there,
Yeah, I mean, we
but
saw him. We
maybe
saw him early in the league playing Esper, and then we saw him little letter playing Sultai. So now he just said, "Why choose?" Christopher here. We saw his deck back. I think it was week 3, and this is his last match of the week, and he was 12-3. He just carried on from there. Problem with this hand being the lack of lands, and I think he may have gotten a little too excited when he surveilled an Izoni to the top when he didn't have even a third land here.
yeah, that's pretty suspect.
Yeah, I might have gotten a little excited by seeing an Izoni. The rest of his hand, I mean, they're all cards that he could cast at some point. He has got two Curious Cadaver, which leads me to believe that he's leaned heavy into Clue synergy, perhaps. Um,
Yeah, makes sense with the ongoing investigation that he's just played.
yeah, he's got a Projector Inspector, Hoarding Broodlord, which is the big old dragon from March Machine, Soul Enervation, and then another card I'm a little surprised to see in the main deck, Cerebral Confiscation. That's the dual use, either a Mind Rot or you get to take a card of your choice from opponent's hand.
Yeah, quite interesting. It might be that has just decided that with all the value soup decks that I've been hearing have been running around in these past couple weeks, that the confiscation is just a good pickup.
Yeah, could be, but I mean, if everybody's playing 2-for-1s, a Mind Rot becomes a little less punishing, right? If
Right,
you can just
because
get the cards back by just casting your
yeah,
cards and getting value. So
yeah.
we'll see what comes of this here. He does need a land in order to not be completely out of this.
Though to be fair, it's not quite as grim as it seems, and I think Caleb here might is looking at a long goodbye and a bite down, and I think he might even be keeping both of them on top just to have cards that are actually playable. Because what he has in his hand is he's got one bite down on crime and four lands,
Ooh,
so has got to find some action maybe, but
yeah,
probably not terribly likely given uh, the continued lack of land,
yeah.
continued screw.
This is a far cry from the performance we saw Christopher put on a bit earlier this league. But I mean, like I said, I mean, if the next three cards from his deck weren't going to be lands, then keeping the Izoni might not be why he lost. But it's still like when you're down on lands, you got to have something.
Yeah.
Um, of note, he did go on a pretty big winning streak to get up to 17-3, which is pretty outstanding. And then he did have a little bit of a setback last week, 1-4, but still 18-7. So all to say, we have nice things to say about him and his deck, but not so nice things to say about how this game turned out. And he's gone a little bit different. Last time he was playing Sultai. Now he's a blue black base with both some red and green splashes. It seems so, and he looks like he's like I said, fully gone into clues and card advantage. It seems, but
Hmm.
definitely a Grixis deck here with Izoni and Case of the Locked Hot House.
Right.
So
Just a full on
yeah, a little bit different.
kind of control deck here.
Okay, I mean Caleb didn't do anything outstanding. He just kind of played cards and his opponent didn't. So, but we see. We saw that ongoing investigation do work the last time, but I mean, when you only have two lands, nothing's really gonna look very useful. So he is dragging some cards to the side that he's thinking about taking out, being an unscrupulous
Yeah.
agent, cerebral confiscation, and barbed servitor, which
Yep.
is that rare 4 mana 1/1 that can draw
Mhm.
cards.
Some interesting choices made by Caleb. He took out some one for one removal in one of his copies of Long Goodbye and then Extract Confession, and then he put in a Pick Your Poison, and then I want to say he sided in Sandstalker Pollock,
Okay.
recognizing that it's going to be triggering relatively often in this matchup.
Yeah, I feel like that's a card you can just happily run, like main deck anyway.
Yeah, I guess you've been seeing a lot of blue and black in the league.
Yeah, it's weird because I hear so many people say Boros is, and I'm like, I haven't played against much Boros. I did play against one yesterday, but
Mhm.
that seems to be less of what I'm playing against as of late.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of green
Yeah.
base, green base bombs. People are and definitely the hot house is one that everybody's worried about.
Oh yeah. Well, they don't have to worry about me. Even with the hot house, I'm at 10 losses. So
Mm.
I've only had it for a few matches, but it's done me well. So what's we got another before we get into Caleb's on, we got another two lander here. So
Oh boy.
and okay, he's got a redraw. Okay, well he gets to play Magic this game. What's going on with
Yeah,
Caleb over there?
pretty solid. So is going to develop a nervous gardener,
Okay.
and next turn the only other land is a public thoroughfare, but has a pick your poison, bite down on crime, intrude on the mind, and a doppelgang.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So
none of which quite deals well. I mean, I guess he's going to have to bite down on crime
okay.
here to deal with this Etrata. Um, but yeah, nothing that I would say efficiently in a way dealt with the
Yeah,
Etrata, but
I'll say a bit of an interesting choice from Chris, rather than try and set up a guaranteed, or maybe not guaranteed, but give him a better chance at a fourth land. He could have played the Projector Inspector last time, which would have looted and got a counter, but he decided to go for, I guess, the more powerful play there, rather than try and
mm,
hit the fourth land.
right.
Because as we see,
Here,
he would have hit the fourth land from the loot.
yeah, here Oompa, sorry, not Oompa, but here Caleb is, yeah, flipping his gardener, and the interesting thing is he's drawn a Kellen,
Okay, that's a
so
nice one.
he could actually just run it out as a big 3/4, which it seems like he's going to do. But the other play, of course, could have been that he just, for value, tries to develop his public thoroughfare
Okay.
uh, and taps another land down.
All right, so we see a
He's now
removal
drawn a
here in
deadly
hand.
crow.
Yeah, we see a removal here in hand, and we got two more removals for Chris here. Deadly Complication, Torch the Witness. He also has Judith and a Projector Inspector. Judith is a card I just didn't never saw a lot this format, just because Black Red wasn't really um, a deck that you saw very much. But I mean, the card has powerful words on it, no doubt about that.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get those, if you can be a spell slinging deck, which it sounds like, as I said, it sounded like you were saying you were describing a control deck basically as Demir with a little bit of red and green. And Caleb is fully dual queuing, so uh, it's a good thing that the stream is on the other on Augusta and on Oompa Loompa because Caleb is in fact playing another game at the same time.
Okay, well, I guess I chose well then.
Yeah,
All right, so he made a 3/3 that drew two cards and flies and cost 5 mana. Um,
yeah. And what did you think about the offering there? I think it was a pretty good selection. In the other case, you get to still get those two creatures back, right, with the Unsealed and Necropolis.
yeah, having unsealed there was a nice little. insurance policy. I either try and overthink or don't think at all when it comes to like making piles, whatever. Like I've had that card a few times. I just like throw the cards in piles, and then when my opponent plays it, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Just give them the two cards and the 3/3 most of the time.
Yeah,
All right, so big flyer here, but we do have more removals coming here
yeah. Caleb is really getting some good beats in, it seems.
in this game or in his other game.
In this game,
Okay,
looking at the
good to
life totals, 10 and
know.
26 here.
Good to know. Yeah, I mean, Christopher is defending himself as best he can, but 10 life is not a lot to work with here, especially when your opponent still has 5 cards in hand.
Hmm. And as for what, this is a funny move. So he's basic land cycling, and the reason for that is because he's got Doppelgang in hand. So he's ready
Oh,
to.
yeah.
He's setting up a Doppelgang turn. Plus, he has the Moloch to either defend or just to develop a little.
Yeah, so I'd be guessing this is going to
So
be like a Judith coming down here. Other cards in hand being Torch the
yeah,
Witness, and then two presently uncastables in Izoni and the Hoarding Broodlord, which costs, well, it has Convoke, but you still need 8 total tap. You need to tap 8 total things here.
hmm
Okay, so rather than uh, go for the Judith, he's doing this. I mean, maybe he's got a soul read here that there's a doppelganger, and he says, "I don't want that Glint Weaver in play."
yeah. And I
Maybe
mean,
he's
the
just
other
got
thing
that
that's good
feeling.
is Caleb also has a deadly cover up and
Okay,
has the mana to play deadly cover up. So by kind of keeping the board small, it
and
does pretty
and
well.
that clue just drew 3 cards.
Hmm.
Cracking that clue drew so many cards. Right, here's a Steam Core Scholar. Everybody's drawing cards here.
Deciding to give up his pick your poison instead of the deadly cover up or the doppelgang has drawn into a Rubblebelt Maverick and a Lazav, which
Okay,
are some pretty good pickups.
okay. So it looks like I Caleb's. Yeah, I think I remember Caleb was just basically playing a Sultai deck that had like I think like Akaya and like one or maybe like one other white card, something like that.
Yes, that is pretty much it.
Yeah. So it is closer to what we saw from him a few days ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah, I
so.
will say this
Early was
Oompa
it this
Loompa.
Monday?
Yeah, it was this past Monday. I will say Oompa Loompa's deck. I mean, last we saw was week 3, but it's changed a lot since then. Very
Mm,
very different. I mean, still has the same base of like the bomb rares, but the cast of supporting characters has changed vastly. So very very
right.
interesting type of deck here for week 6. I mean, he's pushing towards top 8. He needs at least one win to get up to 19 to be in the running, and then 20th is will probably be good enough here. And
Mm.
yeah, here comes the Izoni, which is gonna make a very nice board here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Gonna be hard for Caleb to push
It
through.
might be that Caleb is potentially looking to. Uh, it might be that he's going to be looking to play it out a little bit more defensively, or maybe he's going to use his doppelgang right now in
Well,
order to add to the
so
board.
he could make Izoni, depending on how many he probably wants to copy the removal spell, the
Yep.
enchantment. If he makes Izoni, he'll lose one, but if he has enough evidence, he'll get 2 ETB triggers, which he certainly has enough evidence here. So this is potentially game-winning blowout here, as Doppelgang frequently is. And now that these
Hmm.
soul enervations are in play, he could have actually exiled like excess no, not excess creatures, but yeah. So if he exiles 2 more creatures, that's 2 more drains. Okay. He's not dead, but it's not looking good.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's Doesn't
I mean, actually, is dead, right? Because Lazav, he can exile one of his own creatures.
he doesn't have an extra mana though, right? You need.
No, no, it just happens on
Oh,
attack.
right, right, right. Oh, yeah. Well, there we go. Doppelgang wins the game. I mean, expert analysis not required. All right, so Caleb staying alive here to fight another match in week 6, and Oompa Loompa takes the loss here. Still looking to make his way into top 8, but a little bit of a roadblock here. So congrats to Caleb, and we'll see everybody for the top 8.